UFC 304 has 2 title fights. They're both rematches, and the first fight both ended in bizarre injuries. We're going to get a lot of questions answered, and we're going to find out if we have some new champions on Saturday night. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and I'm going to give you my bets for UFC 304. Before we talk about the bets, what I do want to do is highlight the greatest research tool in history. Before I get ahead of myself, let me walk you through this. This is a research tool. We developed it from scratch. This was coded by us. It is on the website. It is available for premium members right now. What you can do in this tool is not only research for this event, but far out into the future. Right now, this very minute, we have data for every single fighter all the way through September. All you need to do is become a premium member. You can do that by going to WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's freaking $10 a month. If you're already a premium member, we have added this to your suite of services. You don't need to do a single thing, and your price isn't going to get changed. When you come into this tool, you can do research. You can narrow down data. You can pick a specific fighter. In this example on the video, I'm picking Belal Muhammad. I have all of his fighter info right there, and it's compared directly to his opponent. Then you work your way down to the filters and say, hey, I want to see how many takedowns Belal Muhammad gets in a fight. And then I can say, you know what? Let me see how many takedowns he gets in decisions. And then I want to see how many takedowns does he get in decision wins. You can stack the filters on top of each other. This chart will automatically adjust as you add or remove filters. And if you hover over one of those fancy little buttons, you're going to see all the data from that specific fight. You're going to see who the judges were. You're going to see the scorecards. You're going to see how many rounds it was. You're going to see all that information. And then if you click the button, it will take you out to the fight to watch the actual fight. This is a tape index. This is interactive data. This is charting. This is everything you could ever need in one single tool. It is included in premium membership. This isn't an add-on. We're not changing the price. It's an additional tool that we added to memberships. If you're not a member, become one now. It's freaking $10 a month, and I just gave you the greatest research tool on the planet. That is not an exaggeration. If you are a member, you don't need to change a single thing. Thank you for your patronage, and you're welcome, we've added another tool to the mix. But this isn't the first time we added a tool. We just added the Prop Hunter a week ago. The Prop Hunter is a curated set of data specifically designed to find those prop bets. It's fully interactive, and it is available to you, especially if your sportsbook has takedowns, significant strikes, and round leans. You're also going to get the line movement tracker and a whole bunch of other tools that I don't have time to mention. And then, of course, if you don't want to do your own research, we get it. You can show up, see the bets that we've got going on, copy, paste, and move on with your life. One of those bets is the safety parlay. The safety parlay specifically is the beacon of stability in this space. It is 12-2 in the last 10 pay-per-views. And that's because some pay-per-views I give you more than one. UFC 304, I've got 2 safety parlays for you. I have hit 6 of the last 7 safety parlays. It hits at a 70% event win rate. You can unlock every single thing I just mentioned. A million other things I didn't mention because these intros get too long and people start complaining. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. It's only $10 for an entire month. Before I show you the bets, let's talk in generalities. Let's talk about some of my confident favorites and some live underdogs. This is a hard pay-per-view. Sometimes we get lucky. What was it, UFC 303? 302, I believe, where they were in Brazil. That was an easy-ish card. Maybe it was 301. I'm forgetting. But when they were in Brazil, it was an easier card. Vitor Prachnio lost. He was a huge favorite. But outside of that, things went the way they were supposed to go. This card feels very, very different. We have a lot of young, unproven people. We have a lot of really close matchups. We have a lot of fights that can go in either direction that I don't think would be surprising for anybody. So if I'm looking at favorites that I'm confident in, there's not a long list. I do think Mick Parkin gets it done. At the end of the day, he's a good fighter. Is he spectacular? No. Is he dangerous? No. But his opponent borderline sucks. I'm sorry, Lucas, if you're watching this, I apologize. But his opponent is not very good. So sometimes you have to look at the other side of the cage and not just that fighter. Is Mick Parkin a guy that I would normally hang my hat on and be this confident in? No. He barely got by Muhammad Usman, who we now know officially sucks. But if we're looking at the competition here, Mick Parkin probably won't be the better pure striker in this matchup, but he can grapple, and Lucas can't really defend takedowns unless you're a slob named Walter Walker. Nathaniel Wood, big-time favorite. He's actually the biggest favorite on this card, and it does make some sense. He's fighting a guy who's dangerous for a couple of minutes and then quickly fades. Nathaniel Wood is fast. He hits hard. He's a well-rounded guy, and he's pretty durable. So if he can withstand that early storm, he can certainly move forward and get it done. And then a surprising addition to this list is Molly McCann. She's somebody I've gotten more and more confident as the week has gone on. I don't like these odds. Don't get this list confused with actual bets that I'm about to show you. If I'm looking at favorites that I do think win, I think Molly's one of them. That money is not great. Minus 320 is not great. But Molly McCann is in insane shape. She looks absolutely spectacular. She's always been insanely tough. Molly McCann is not somebody that is soft, that you're just going to break. Her biggest issue has just been you can take her down and submit her. And we saw that a few times. But I don't think that's what's going to happen here. Molly McCann is probably going to come forward, make this a dirty, gritty fight, stay in Brunner Brazil's face, and work her way to a win. Brunner Brazil can be gun shy. She's a good fighter, but she doesn't let her hands go as often as she should. And I think Molly McCann, the way she looks, the training she's been putting in, I think Molly McCann could absolutely look really, really good in this fight. If we talk about solid underdogs, you can basically put every underdog on this card on this list. Outside of Lucas Bresky, every underdog on this list, on the card, could be on this list. Alice Ardelean, short notice, OnlyFans star stepping up. This is another situation. Is Alice Ardelean great? No. But she is tough. She is busy. She will stay in your face. And she's fighting somebody who is also not very good in Shauna Bannon. So we have two sort of not great, unproven fighters. And you're going to get plus 160 on one of them. I think Alice wins this fight. Certainly if she gets smoked, it's like, yeah, you know, short notice OnlyFans star. That's what happens. But the reality is, I think Alice can win this fight, and those are great odds. Manel Kape. This is an interesting fight because if we look at the situation at hand, first of all, these two have been literally fighting each other in the hallways. And then they keep denying it. It makes no sense. There was a rumor that they got into a physical altercation a few weeks back at the Performance Institute. Then they both like, yeah, that's not true. I don't know what they're talking about. Then this week, in England, they get into each other's faces. There's videos of a scuffle. Then they take a picture together saying, there was no scuffle. Don't worry about it. All is good here. And then Manel Kape yesterday is tweeting out, you're not a real Muslim, you're a piece of garbage, you're poor. Makes no sense. I don't know what's going on between these two. But either way, Manel Kape is a very good striker. The far better striker. It's not even close who's the better striker in this matchup. And then obviously Muhammad Mokaev on the other side is a very good wrestler. But we just watched Muhammad Mokaev strike a little bit in his last fight, and it's bad. We also watched him not get all the takedowns he should. And that wasn't a great look either. He came out a few days later with a couple of excuses talking about, well, I had staff. If you believe Muhammad Mokaev had staff, then this fight might look like all of his other fights where he's getting the takedowns, he's staying busy, he doesn't get tired, and he wins a pretty clear decision. But if you think that he's just not looking as good as his level of competition goes up, well, then all of a sudden, Manel Kape's looking real good here. Because if this was Manel Kape in the last fight, defending the takedowns that Alex Perez was able to defend, Manel Kape would have probably put Muhammad Mokaev's lights out. Alex Perez was defending takedowns and then not letting his hands go. Manel Kape will let his hands go and is dangerous. So I do think he's a good underdog. I don't have him winning this fight, but again, we're talking in generalities. Paddy Pimblett, I literally bet the other side, and I have some buyer's remorse. I bet on King Green in this matchup because my logic was King Green's going to be the better striker and he's got good takedown defense. I still believe in that logic. But Paddy Pimblett, if he gets you to the ground, he's not like the most dangerous submission guy that's ever lived, but what he is busy with insane control. If he ends up taking Bobby Green down, Bobby Green or King Green may defend the takedowns, but I don't know if he'll get back up, which means that round is now officially gone and he has to come back and he has to keep the fight standing the next two rounds. Paddy Pimblett keeps his chin wide up in the air. He gets hit a little too much. But if he pushes forward, if he pressures forward, if the power doesn't matter and he gets a few takedowns, he can win this fight. Curtis Blaydes and Bilal Muhammad. I picked the other side of the main events for this. In real life, I picked both favorites, right? My picks. Angelo, who's your pick in the main event? I went Leon Edwards. Angelo, who's your pick in the co-main? I went Tom Aspinall. But those fights can go either way. And we'll start with Tom. Tom Aspinall has the least amount of octagon time of any champion. Of any champion. The least amount of octagon time. He has barely fought. And on one hand, that's just a testament to how good he is, how much better he is than everybody else. On the other hand, he's unproven. We've never seen him in trouble. We don't know what it's going to look like if this fight goes a little bit. And if Curtis Blades does decide to wrestle, which he has not done in 3 years, but if he does decide to wrestle, we don't know what that's going to look like. We literally have no idea. So Curtis Blades isn't on this list because I'm planting my flag and saying he's the much better fighter. He's on this list because there's a lot of question marks going into this fight. We just don't know what Tom Aspinall is going to look like if there's a little bit of adversity, if this fight goes a little bit longer. Curtis Blades has fought everybody a couple times over. And if Curtis Blades moves forward, shoots some takedowns, sticks into that rhythm, we don't know what we're going to get. Bilal Muhammad. This is a very controversial fight. Jacob made Bilal Muhammad his underdog lock of the week. Literally 50% of the comments are, this guy's a loser, worst pick in the world, what a clown, you ginger, you dork, blah, blah, blah. The other half is, I love it, I'm on Bilal too. Bilal should win. Bilal's going to... So it's a very polarizing fight. It's a polarizing pick, and it does feel like it's split down the middle, at least from the vocal crowds. I don't think Bilal Muhammad's the worst underdog on this card. Because if we look at wrestlers that Leon Edwards has fought, it's an interesting situation. The first time he fought Usman took him down over and over and over and over, and then got caught with that head kick with like a minute left. But Usman out-wrestled him and was winning that fight. In the second fight, Usman didn't have the same success wrestling, but he didn't wrestle as much. He had some takedowns. He had the cage control. You could argue Usman won that second fight. Then he fought Colby Covington. Colby Covington broke his foot in the first 30 seconds or whatever the hell. Colby Covington did not stick to a wrestling game plan in that fight. Bilal Muhammad will. He will. There's not a world where Bilal Muhammad isn't just shooting a million takedowns over and over. The question becomes, can Leon defend those takedowns? And that's a question we will have answered on Saturday night. Point being here, Bilal Muhammad may just come forward, wrestle his ass off for 25 minutes and win this fight. Or he could have a few takedowns defended, get caught flailing, and look pretty bad. Either way, I don't think he's the worst underdog on this card. Let's take a look at my actual bets. I've got 5 total units on the board, but I am a little top heavy. I've got 2 different safety parlays at 1 unit each. So there's 2 units off the rip, the safety parlays. And I'm pretty exposed there. Then I have a single bet with 2 full units, which if you guys watch this show and you know me, that is not what I normally do. I'm a pretty steady Eddie kind of guy. I have been up money the last God knows how many cards, and that's because I don't take any wild chances and I try not to overly expose myself. This card could be one of the best we've had in a while, or it could be a little bit tricky. If we look at King Green, all the reasons I mentioned before, I think he's the better striker. I think he can defend the takedowns. So now we have a striking match, and he should be the better striker. I got him at minus 129. You're actually going to get better money right now. Bilal Muhammad plus 5.5. All that means is I'm buying points on the judges' scorecard. I think this is a close fight. I picked Leon to win the fight. But even if Leon wins, I think it's a close fight. I think Leon Edwards loses at least 1 round, potentially 2. If he loses 2 rounds on the judges' scorecards, this bet hits at plus money. If Bilal Muhammad can get his wrestling going in 2 rounds, then this bet hits. And I think this is a very close fight. I think it'll be a little bit back and forth. I think Bilal will have some success wrestling. I think at moments he won't. But what I do know is that Leon Edwards is not like a killer. He's not a guy that's constantly moving forward, throwing like Casey, pushing a pace. He's not that guy. He takes his time. He allows you to hold him against the cage. He's a patient, calculated guy, and the judges could go either way there. So I do like Bilal Muhammad, the point spread. I got that at plus money. I think it's minus money right now. And then the big boy bet that I put on the board was Preston Parsons wins inside the distance, decision, no action. Let me walk you through my logic. I put 2 units on that. It's juiced, but I put 2 units on that. I was going to bet Preston Parsons money line. And then ultimately I didn't because I was like, Bon Elliott is good and he's pretty tough. And we could have a world where Preston Parsons can't really get the fight to the ground, doesn't have that success, and he loses a sloppy decision. So then I said, let me see what the inside the distance decision, no action is. And that essentially is saying if Preston Parsons finishes this fight, which he has finished every fight except 1, if he finishes this fight, I'll get paid. If he loses a decision, then we get a full refund on the bet. The bet never happened. Here's your money back. Everybody's hands are clean. And I think that's the safer bet. And certainly the odds do too, which is why it's minus 180. So I put 2 full units on it. There's risk. Of course there's risk. If Preston Parsons gets finished, I lose that money. It's gone. I lose the bet. I lose 2 units off the rip. And to recover from that, it's not going to be, I have to hit the rest of these bets to be okay. But I do think Preston Parsons is tough enough. He beat Matt Semmelsberger. He was able to withstand the power that comes from Matt Semmelsberger for the entire fight. And Oban Elliott is not dangerous. And that's ultimately why I went that route. I have 2 different safety parlays for you with some pretty spectacular odds. The first safety parlay is minus 118. The second is plus 115. You can unlock those safety parlays now. It's freaking $10 a month. And you're not just going to get the safety parlay. You're going to get all the bets, all the picks, all the tools, and everything else that we do. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Let's take a little look at Jacob's teaser. He has almost 8 units on the board, and we don't have all the prop bets yet. Once they drop the takedown props and the significant strike props, he will probably add to this. Obviously, Bilal Muhammad is his underdog lock of the week. At plus 200, he put 2 units. 2 units at plus 200. That's the official bet for premium. In real life, you put a lot more than that, but obviously it's very important to be responsible when we're putting these things out there. His money line bet, he's got another premium money line hiding behind the paywall, a premium parlay behind the paywall, and a whole bunch of other bets. If all goes well for Jakey Boy and he has the night that he's hoping he has, he's going to have 20 units coming back to him. You can unlock the rest of his bets at WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's only $10. The Bilal Muhammad fight, if you haven't seen his Underdog Lock of the Week video, at the very least, it's an insane highlight. It's incredible. You should watch that video. If we take a look at some of the best odds on the planet, you can go to BetOpenly. BetOpenly, they are a sponsor of the show, but what they are not is a sports book. When we talk about betting odds, we're talking about beating the bookies, beating the sports book. I'm trying to take money away from BetOnline. BetOpenly is human to human, person to person. When you win a bet, you take money from another person, not a sports book. You can bet against Jacob. You can take Jacob's actual money from his pocket. He has the bet on he has the bet on Muhammad. You can bet on Edwards. And if you win, you took Jacob's actual money. My safety parlay, you can bet the other side. Anybody in the parlay misses, you get to take my actual money. You can check them out. Just go to betopenly.com or wewantpicks.com/betopenly. And don't forget, we will send you $50 if you sign up with any one of our sportsbook partners. Just go to wewantpicks.com/bets. Use the affiliate link, sign up, make a deposit. We send you $50 as a thank you. This should be a fun card. This is a tricky card. Good luck to all of you. If you're not premium, please become premium. If you are premium, thank you so much. Enjoy the brand new tools that we added for you.